Hey everyone, and welcome to DPC Learnings. This week we're going to talk about adding value to your DPC memberships while saving your patients money. We're super excited to have you all here today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lauren Tancredi, and I am the practice development lead here at Hint Health. And I'm so pleased to have our partners from Front Row Health join us today, in particular, Irfan, who's going to talk to you a little bit about Front Row Health and our partnership, but he will be in person at our Hint Summit September 20th through the 23rd in San Diego. So if you haven't got tickets and you want to learn more about things like this, as well as learn about the DPC industry, we'd encourage you to join us. And Irfan, I'm going to kick it over to you to tell us a little bit about Front Row Health and what you all are up to.
Absolutely. Lauren, thank you so much for having us. We're super excited to be a partner of Hint Health and also to be at the summit in San Diego this year. I'm the founder and CEO of Front Row Health. We're a free patient savings platform. I started the company coming out of business school. Last year, we raised our sort of first round of funding and just launched publicly in February. So we've just been on the market for about 6 months, working with lots of different types of medical providers, all the way from nutritionists to internal medicine physicians to a number of DPC providers who we have found have been the most engaged with our platform, given that they have patients who are interested and excited to hear their opinions on a whole range of different types of vitamins, medical devices, and health apps that patients can use. And now providers can easily share discounts with their patients on their favorite vitamin D, blood pressure monitoring device, home exercise and fitness programs, and other sort of solutions that you may already be chatting to about your patients. And now you can share that as just a unique discounts page link where they can shop and save on your favorite products.
Yeah, we love that. I mean, there's a lot of like cost transparency that we're trying to bring to the DPC space. And it's awesome that you guys have been like an aggregate of all these really cool tech tools, supplements, like all the things non-RX, right? And so I know from my experience as a patient, as well as talking to providers, like a lot of times patients walk away feeling a little bit confused about like, where do I go to get the best vitamin D when there's hundreds of them on the market. So tell me a little bit about how folks can curate their discounts and like find products with Front Row.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can show you guys a quick example of what this looks like, just as a sort of demo page. So we'll chat with a doctor. We'll chat with them about what their favorite products are, what they may already be sharing with patients. And let's say, for example, they're like, you know what, I pretty often talk about EKG monitoring with my patients as a cardiologist, just as an example. Then they may decide to add this AliveCore EKG monitoring device to their discounts page. We give them the opportunity on their side of the portal to review detailed clinical information on the products that we've included in our library that our clinical team has already pre-vetted for our providers. We have about 300 different solutions across, like I said, consumables, devices, and virtual services. And each provider can customize the page as they would like. So some providers are really excited about supplements and probiotics. But other providers really just are trying to use this to share, different types of health and wellness apps that complement prescription treatment plans, like this diabetes program from Clinio, which gives beginner workouts and meal plans and activity logs and blood sugar tracking metrics for their patients who are diabetic. These are things that the provider doesn't have time themselves to do. For example, the doctor isn't going to be on FaceTime with their patients doing home exercise and fitness classes, but they can add those types of products to their discounts page. And now by sharing this unique link with their patients, either digitally or with the sort of GoodRx like coupon cards that we share that have your QR code that take them to this page where they can find all sorts of solutions that you've hand selected.
Amazing. So you said, and just to reiterate, it was like 300 products over what categories again, just so that I'm clear.
Yeah. So 3 different types of categories that we have. First are consumables. So these are just your normal supplements and vitamins, all the way to probiotics, healthy foods, for example, or topical treatments for skincare, OTC generics. This is a brand, Cabinet Health, that has like plastic waste-free products, just like your normal Unisum OTC generic product. And then the second category of products that we have are devices. So these are home lab tests, monitoring devices, pain relief equipment. So this is, for example, a women's fertility test that you can get from Everlywell, where they test from home and ship products to a CLIA certified lab, or ship their sample to a CLIA certified lab. all the way to just your normal blood pressure monitoring device, where patients can check their BP, blood pressure from home. You may already be chatting about this with your patients, and so now through your discounts page, they can get 15% cash back. All they have to do is submit a receipt to us. We match their lowest price. So if they want to buy it from Amazon or another retailer, they just submit their receipt to us and we commit to giving them their cash back. The last category that a lot of our providers are actually super excited about is this virtual services one, because again, it's just a way to extend additional services to your patients that you may not be able to do on your own. So Snack, for example, is a great product for diabetics, where patients can just snap a photo of their food and then it counts carbs and protein and fat content and helps them understand how this is going to affect their glucose levels in real time. And again, these are things that your patients may not know about, or you may not know about, but could be a complement to their sort of prescription treatment plans. And just by including it on your page, they can decide if they want to purchase it and get 15% cash back. And then Lauren, the last thing that's super important, it's a commitment that we make to our providers, is if there's a brand that you love, like if, Lauren, you said there's lots of vitamin D brands. If there's a vitamin D brand that you love that we don't have in our library, just text us or email us that link to your favorite product and we'll add it to your discounts page for free and still give your patients cash back on that solution. We don't want to ever artificially limit what we share with our, what medical providers can share with their patients, because again, you are the trusted resource for them instead of them shopping from Instagram ads, influencers online, Reddit threads, and things like that.
Yeah, right before this call, we started talking a little bit about like how people are inundated by information, right? Through ads and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, these folks are coming to you for their health, but then they're going out there and like in the world of the wild, wild web, right? And going to find those solutions. So what a great solution it is to be able to like aggregate all of these products. And as you were saying, like, and they get to add what they like for free if it's not even there. So of the 300, they can limit or add to, is what I'm understanding from these pages. And it's basically like they have their own favorites page that they can direct people to every single day as part of their care plan.
Exactly.
Awesome. And then tell me a little bit, I mean, obviously we're starting to see like how this can benefit members, like ease of finding products. And then tell me a little bit how it's like, how the folks in the DPC world or even in medical practices themselves are actually experiencing this in use in their practices.
Totally. One of the reasons that we were super excited to be partners with Hint Health was because we very quickly found traction just early on with the direct provider space. I actually was new to the DPC space before starting Front Row, and I had a friend mention, working with a DPC provider because I myself wanted to have a more engaged relationship, spend more time with my provider. I had lots of questions about my own health after going through some unique issues and experiences during COVID. And so what we also quickly realized with Front Row was when you were deciding as a patient to pay a monthly membership fee, there are a lot of different providers you could be working with. And there's even a handful of DPC providers in local communities that you could be working with. And so what we found that was most interesting for the DPC providers that have signed up for Front Row is they are looking for new ways to add value to their patients to help them further justify starting or continuing to pay that monthly membership fee. And so as a unique benefit of working with Dr. Guide in this case, as your trusted DPC provider, that patient gets access to potentially hundreds of trusted consumables, devices, health and wellness apps that they get unique discounts on as a reward for being with your DPC practice. And so in this case, as you're thinking about how do I continue to show value to my patients, they are probably actively looking up these things online, getting inundated with this content. Maybe they're even bugging you with questions about these things. Mm-hmm. And so that's actually the second thing, that, sort of secondary benefit that we've heard from practices once we've gotten started with them is when I go and visit the office manager again, or the front receptionists, the team is the one who tells me, oh, this just saves up a lot of time because we have patients. I actually was just speaking to a PCP office manager. This is a concierge medicine practice in Austin last week when I was just checking back in and dropping off some more cards for them that have their unique QR code. And the office manager said, the front receptionist said, I literally had a patient call today in the middle of a CVS aisle saying like, what blood pressure monitoring device do I buy? Like, I don't know. There's so many brands. Like, this is super important to me. You told me I'm at risk for hypertension, all these different things. Like, I want to make sure I'm getting the right one. I have to spend my hard-earned money on this. And the front receptionist is like, I had no idea what to tell them. And so now they can say, yeah, check out, Dr. Guide's discounts page or Dr. XYZ's discounts page. you can find the best products there. If you want to buy it at the CVS, just submit your receipt back to Front Row and you'll still get the cash back. And so it's the added value to your members who are paying you to continue to engage with them deeply on their health overall, as well as just a resource to help you more efficiently share information that's trusted with patients.
Yeah, and I think what a wonderful story, and what a great tool, especially from like a training and like both from a team level, right? So you're training your staff what are the best kind of things that your patients need. You're creating a directory for them to drop into. And so those of you that are using these like telehealth tools, you can drop them quick links, you can use those QR codes, but you're also teaching the patient how to be with the practice. And so if I need the thing that my doctor or my provider prescribed for me or recommended for me, let me go to this thing first before I lean in, or reference this page first. And so, we always talk about optimizing our time and efficiencies and workflows. And so this is a really great way for folks to be able to like have a one-stop shop in essence for all of these things that are non-GoodRx like.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. So tell me, like, what are some of your favorite products that you're seeing like out there right now that people are up to?
Yeah. So like I said, I think there's kind of two categories of products. So beyond the consumable devices and virtual services, I like to think of our products in these two broader buckets. The first is just your standard tried and true solution. So just like this EKG monitoring device, like patients who have heart arrhythmia issues, this is FDA cleared. It's a great price. It has been, it's literally just like a wallet-sized debit card that you put your thumbs on, and it's able to accurately track and send insights to your phone and back to your doctor. And this is HSA and FSA eligible. So patients purchase this out of pocket, or even if it's covered by the HSA, we'll still pay them $15 cash back into their PayPal or Venmo. So this is like one category of products where like it's just tried and true. Doctors are familiar with it, just like BPM devices or vitamin D that they're sharing with patients. But then there's also a second category of products that providers are not familiar with, probably because they're new and they just launched over the past year or so since the pandemic. So Able Health is a really great example of that. So this is a personalized nutrition program for patients that suffer from gut health issues like IBS or irritable bowel syndrome or IBD. And so this, again, is a great complement to physician clinic care, because this does things that the physician oftentimes doesn't have time to do. So it connects you with a health coach that you can message anytime, a grocery database, a way to track gut health insights and symptoms, a personalized nutrition program telling you which foods to include or remove, curated content and resources for you to read by GI experts. Things that if the patient wants to continue to improve their GI care beyond maybe prescription treatments that you're sharing with them in person, then they can access Able Health remotely. They can message their health coach and get more treatment and more diet programs and plans. And again, those are things that just the provider may not have time to do with their patients, but is a great sort of added value as well. Obey Fitness is another great platform that's a popular solution with a lot of our providers that we love. This is just a home exercise and fitness program. So again, you may not have heard of this. You're probably not actively sharing this with your patients today, like vitamin D. But if your patients, there's a huge wave right now with Wegovy and Ozempic and these GLP-1 medications. But in addition to taking medications for weight loss, I'm sure providers are telling their patients, you also got to stay active, right?
Yeah.
And so this is a platform where my wife and I actually use this ourselves, where you just get on and you can do community programs and live programs, fitness and exercise with a trainer. And it's just in the comfort of your home. Again, a really great price point, 15% cash back. Thousands of people use this platform. And just by including this in your page, there's no downside to having your patients just continue to improve their workouts from home. And similarly to physical exercise, there's a lot of really great platforms that we have for mental health solutions. So this is a great brand that we work with, Cobal, that has a pregnancy and postpartum solution for women to help take courses, work with a coach, and get evidence-led education on how to go through these new phases in your life and to seek support in those what can be challenging times. And so again, mental health, physical health, those are types of things that you're probably already talking to your patients about, but may not be directing them to specific solutions because you may not be familiar with Able Health or Obey Fitness or those types of things. And by working with Front Row, we get to chat with you about these solutions that we love from our brand partners and make it easy for you to share discounts on them.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I know we haven't talked about these things, but how do you, like, if you got new products coming to the market, how are you sharing that with the providers that are on the platform? And like, what would you be your recommendation for like going in and updating your store, for example, on a fairly regular basis?
Totally. Yeah. So every week we're probably adding a couple of new brand partners to the platform. Uh, so the story behind Front Row is actually that prior to starting Front Row and prior to business school, was working at a digital consumer health company called Everlywell. So they're a home lab testing company. They're a brand partner of ours as well. And this is like, think about home lab testing for COVID, but you can check your HbA1c levels, for example, or fertility testing, or lipids panel, for example, for cholesterol. And what we found there was that it was just really difficult for us to build trust with consumers through ads and flashy marketing, where they were being inundated with all this content online. And so when we reach out to health brands to get them on the platform, or when you introduce us to brands, because you say, we really like this brand, Nutrafol, for example, we'll reach out to that brand partner and say, and they're almost always excited to say, yeah, if you have doctors that are excited to share our solution with their patients, like, we'd love to be a part of the platform. And so, that's how we are constantly adding new solutions to the platform. And when we do that, there's a couple of new ways to learn about it. Every month, we send out a newsletter to our provider community where we highlight some of our favorite new brand partners that have been added to the platform. So, for example, I think we added, a new brand partner recently. So, like Thorne, for example, is a great supplements brand that DPC providers actually shared with us as a recommendation that they wanted to share. Not that you have to add it to your store, but in the case that is a brand that you like, or an omega 3 product that you like, you can add that to your page, and we reach out to that brand and they became a brand partner of ours. And then we also just personally work with each of our providers. And so I send messages to our providers who I've spoken with who say, yeah, these are the types of things that my patients are looking for. And I say, hey, we just added a new solution like this. And then when you log back into your portal, there's actually a tab that says newly added. So you can actually browse. Every 2 weeks, we update that to have all the products that we've newly added for you to check out. And like I said, we ask each of our brand partners to prepare detailed clinical information on our products. So questions like, what ingredients are you using? How are they scientifically backed? Have you done any studies before? Why should providers be excited about this versus other solutions that might be similar? And that's to give you a one-stop place to review that before you decide whether you want to include that on your page or not.
Yeah, I love that you're able to like get educated and empowered as a physician or provider, right, on the platform as well, and learn new things, because a lot of this is about us like really just helping navigate the complexities of all of the information that's out there from a healthcare perspective. And I love what you said too around like, the fitness and mental health. One of the things that I hear from care providers a lot is that they're like coming into this place of mental health, especially after COVID, as we were talking before the session, just like
Sure.
all these people are coming in like ready to put health at the forefront of their decision making and trying to navigate all of these things, right? And so it's so cool that you guys are able to like aggregate all of those resources for people. I'm curious because I know you mentioned the provider portal. Can they see like who's actually interacting from a patient perspective on the back end? So there's like compliance kind of thing going on?
Sure. Yeah. So the provider can track, the types of things that their patients are engaging with in a little table. They can see what they're clicking on and what they're buying. And we can also, we've had, providers reach out to us and ask for even more information. And we pulled reports for them and can make that super collaborative depending on what the provider is looking for. Because some providers are oftentimes trying to think, but okay, I want to follow up with my patient. I told them about this BPM device. And I want to check if they've gone out and looked at it. If they have questions about it, I can follow up and see if there's a reason they haven't purchased it or not. And the other thing that actually reminds me about too, which is what's sort of happening in the background on your page, is we make it super easy, and we try to take the effort off of the provider's shoulder in terms of like educating, re-engaging, reminding the patients on the types of products and solutions that are on their discounts page. So for example, our algorithm is actually tracking what your unique patients are most interested in on your page. And so your page every day is going to dynamically refresh and update to reorganize products to the top that your patients are most interested in, not on patients from another provider, but actually, if you're commonly talking about that BPM device or that home exercise and fitness program, your patients are actually engaging with that, then that's going to ladder up to the top to make it easier for them to discover that solution. And every week we remind them too, like, here's a new product from your provider's page that you can check out based on what you're interested in. Here's a reminder on the products that you've already checked out on, recently viewed. Here's more information, customer quotes. And so we do all the work from the provider. Just, all we ask is, share that, pamphlet with the patients, tell them about products that you're excited about. But in terms of making it easy for them to explore and find the solutions, we sort of take care of that for you.
I love that. It's so intuitive sounding. And then from a marketing and retention standpoint, what I think of when I hear you say that is like, you all are getting direction by like understanding what your buying behaviors are of your patients, right? So if you're seeing everybody going into mental health platform because it's something that you recommended, it also gives you an opportunity to like expand that service offering or the conversation around that service offering, whether it's in the I don't know if I got lost there, but what I'm thinking is like, you see how people are, we're getting a storm in Florida. Sorry about that, y'all.
No worries. I can hear you great.
Okay. So like if you're getting that type of intuitiveness around your buying behaviors of your patients, it also can direct you from a retention standpoint. Like, should I be writing my newsletters about this? How do I and so you've got content to redirect back into these things. Because a lot of times what I experience from a DPC practitioner is like, I have to do the one-to-one, right? And it's like, actually, if you can start to see what these behaviors are, how do I speak to the many's? Right.
Yes.
And so having something that's so intuitive like that in the background, I could see it being really great gathering of data and information to help educate even the team and the staff on what we need to be talking about even more. So I love that.
And Lauren, that's actually what we pulled for one of the providers for context, was like a question around, I want to know what are the health goals and issues that my patients, even if they're a diabetic and that's what I talk to them about the most, they may be struggling with sleep and stress and be thinking about fertility journey and things like that. So like in aggregate, what are the things that my patients are mostly interested in? Because then to that provider's point, they wanted to know what to bring up with their patients, what content to go look for to share with their patients, because they wanted to know what they were most interested in. And we actually have that data because we can know, and actually we take it a step further, where when your patient checks out on the first product and they sign up for your discounts page, their page actually then over time uniquely updates to be more personalized for their own shopping experience. So based on, if they're clicking on a lot of skincare products, for example, then the next time they come back to their page, that's going to be the types of products that we share and promote with them from what you've selected, so that they can discover even more different solutions. Maybe they were interested in this skincare device, but we have other skincare consumables or topical treatments, or this fertility app. And now we also have women's fertility tests or peer support community for women. And so it's not just personalized to your provider, your patients at large, but also for your unique patient to make it an even more specific experience for them.
I love that. As we're coming into this age of like more personalized medicine and people wanting more time and attention, like I could see how this is a really nice kind of like ancillary benefit to have alongside a DPC practice. And again, to eliminate the confusion of like, oh, now I got to go out there into the world. Because what I've experienced, and I was telling Irfan before we started talking, like I used to work in medical aesthetics. And so all these women would go in and like spend money on medical procedures. They're investing in you as a DPC provider. Like, okay, I'm going to invest in my health. And then they walk out of the office and they've got the education and the resources and they're like, oh, I know what I need to do from here. And a lot of times in medical aesthetics, what would happen is women would go and spend $300 to $500 on something outside of the clinic. And how great would it be for you to have that same experience where you're like, here's your care plan, here's where you go get the things. So compliance is increased, patient engagement is increased, and they've got this like extra value added benefit. And on the other side, now you're able to track retention, you're able to see like what you should be talking about. And so I think this makes for a really great partner, which is clearly why you're here in terms of like what we can do in DPC. So tell me a little bit, and I don't know if we talked about this fully because I know you were telling me a story, but just a little bit about, I know Dr. Green's working with you guys and how you've kind of been able to come into the DPC space and support him.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because before we were formal partners with Hint Health, and as we were just getting started earlier this year, I was literally just DMing DPC doctors on Instagram, because I realized quickly as we got a couple to sign up from the very get-go that this was, given their patient population, like I mentioned, given that patient population is already interested in a cash pay model and therefore is probably interested in looking at different ways to spend their money to improve their health, that this could be a good sort of segment for us to try to break into. And so that in the early days is what we were doing. And so, but now, both with being a partner with Hint Health and having a small base of active DPC providers, they've been great with just sharing it with other colleagues. It just feels like you probably know better than anyone that this is a pretty strong community. And it seems like DPC providers lean on one another heavily for how to keep, operate their practice, grow their practice. And so that has been an important way for us to continue to try to get the word out to the DPC community. And again, if, we're still at a stage in full transparency at this early stage where we're very actively involved with each of our doctors. So this is not an operation where you'll just sign up and never chat with us. Like we, as the founder of the company, I'm speaking to almost every doctor that we have on the platform. They email me directly. We have a team that also helps with growth, but I want to know what feedback you have, and what are the things that you're interested in hearing, and products that you're trying to share with patients. And so this is still deeply collaborative, which, as I've come to know the DPC community better, seems like is hopefully in line with what you expect of that culture, because we want to work with you all to find the right solutions and feedback. So for example, one of our DPC providers actually gave us feedback on this resources tab, where they were like, hey, I actually have like articles that I share with patients, just like one-off. And is there a way I can just share articles with you to include on my discounts page? And we were like, oh, that's super interesting. This was back in like, I think maybe March or April. And we said, yeah, like we have lots of brand partners that have really great, educational content on, like, for example, what is pre-diabetes, or how do I, equipment-free exercises for heart health, or falling asleep better. And these are just things that, patients are constantly looking for information online. And so how can we curate that and also include that as a part of this like overall trusted resource? And so just as that provider gave us feedback on how to improve our platform because of the way that they naturally interacted with their patients, we want to stay close to our provider community so that we can keep iterating, hopefully in the positive direction.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. We are highly collaborative and innovative, and like still in like this startup space. And so we get feedback even at Hint from a lot of our folks that are like using the platform, and there's so much room for like growth and, creativity in this space, because there is really no right way or one way to do this. Right. And so it's so nice to have all of these resources available at our fingertips to be able to distribute and discern and use, right, to our advantage, because you don't have to do it all. And that's one thing I want to remind the DPC docs, like you don't have to take it on and do it all yourself, especially when you got partners like this and Hint that are able to support you along the way. And so I'm curious, before we start to wrap things up here, is there anything that we missed that maybe you want to share with the DPC community at large, that you're like, okay, this is why Front Row is good for you? But clearly, I mean, what do you got to lose by trying it, right?
Yeah, that's no. And first of all, thank you, Lauren. These have been excellent questions. You're totally right about the sort of resilience of the DPC community. I'm excited to chat with more of you at the summit as well. I think if you're to take away anything about Front Row, it's that in the event that you're already chatting with your patients, or they're asking questions about additional ways to improve their health, either proactively or to manage their condition better, that is anything outside of your metformin for your diabetic or your just traditional prescription medication, which I feel like most of the DPC providers that I've chatted with got into the DPC space because they felt like the sort of conventional model was disempowering them and their patients, where it was just so focused on 15 minutes in, write your prescription, begrudgingly answer questions from your patients, and then flip to the next patient, right? Yeah. And so when you're spending an hour with your patient and you're probably chatting with them more than just like, here's your prescription meds and go forth and prosper. We would love to be that partner to help you guide your patients to trusted solutions, give them more affordable ways to shop and save in this tough economic condition where people are more cash strapped than they've been before, and to hopefully save you and your patients time instead of them wasting time going through Instagram ads and wasting their money on products that don't work, or when they're calling you and your staff about questions on what brand and what product to look for, or questions that these articles or peer support communities can help them with. We can help set up your page. There's no cost to you. There's no cost to patients. There's no integration effort. It's just a link, a pamphlet that you can hand out to them with a QR code that goes to their page. You just scan it with your phone camera, and we can get you set up the same day. I think the team will share my email and our calendar link to schedule time with us if you want to find time. We'd love to chat with you, or you can visit our website to just learn more, set up an account directly, or schedule a demo call with us. We'd be super excited to make it easier for you to share discounts with patients.
Yeah, we love this. I love that there's something that's kind of complementary to the good RX space, but for more non-prescription, like devices, RXs, all the other things that you guys are talking about. And so what an amazing thing. And so if anybody's got any questions for Erfan, please go ahead and drop those in the chat now. Otherwise, we'll drop his email in there so you can email him directly. Again, you can visit them on the website or come to Hint Summit. I'm going to just talk about it real quick while I got you all here. Meet him, other partners that are here to help support you in the space, and collaborate with your peers. I mean, this is what we're doing, right? We're bringing the community together. We're helping catalyze the movement of direct care, but also giving you guys the tools and support and resources that you need to make like the ultimate patient experience and deliver the care that you love at the end of the day, right? This is why you're doing this. I say this all the time. You're building the dream. You might as well make it fun for yourself. And then you get to partner with cool people like us, and it's even funner, right? And so I would highly encourage you all to check out the summit, check out Front Row Health. Again, what do you have to lose by trying, right? They say they're working with you. It's free to set up. So the provider makes an account, the patient would make an account, and bam, you're done, right?
Yeah. And you can just share the link with a patient. They can shop as a guest. If they don't want to make an account, they don't have to. It's just an added resource for them now that they're a member with your practice.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Yes. I appreciate you being here. I can't wait to see you in San Diego in real life outside of the screen. And we hope you all will join us there as well.
Yeah. Thanks, Lauren. Thank you so much for having us, and can't wait to see you all in San Diego too.
Sounds great.